All right, college football and stuff here. It is week 9 of the college football season. In this video, I'll be going over the ACC and the Big Ten games coming up this week. All right, starting off with the ACC on Saturday, we have Boston College at Clemson, 12 o'clock on ABC. Clemson a 31-point favorite. They didn't cover last week, but I don't think Boston College matches up well against them. I think maybe they're going to come out with a little bit more urgency, Clemson is, after that sort of close game against a Syracuse team that they really, I think, should have blown away. That was a close game at halftime. Boston College is going to try to throw the ball around, and Clemson has a really good secondary and I would say close to, if not elite, defensive line. I think Boston College struggles to score points in this game. Give me Clemson minus the 31 there.
Alright, so after I shot this video, it came out that Trevor Lawrence has COVID and will not be playing in this game. So that is, of course, a huge loss for Clemson. Now, I don't think it's going to really matter against Boston College as far as who wins this game. I think Clemson still wins. I don't think there's really any question. I would probably assume that they can win by 2 touchdowns. Now, I tried to go back and look and see how the spread had changed as a result of this to try to update my pick. And from what I saw, the spread is now gone. So I don't know if they are still updating it. But so, of course, I'm not going to keep my 31-point covering by Clemson here. I think they can still do it, but we're going to be seeing a quarterback that we don't really know much about. There's always a chance that he plays or looks really good because Boston College doesn't have any film on him. And there's a chance that he plays terribly. There's a chance that Clemson leans very heavily on Travis Etienne as well and doesn't score as many points as they might otherwise. So yeah, I would not bet this game. I don't know what the spread is going to end up being if they're going to release an updated one. But for right now, I am just going to be saying that Clemson is going to win this game, and I won't be picking against the spread.
Then we have Wake Forest at Syracuse, 12 o'clock on the ACC network. And like I just said, Syracuse played a good, close game against Clemson, but really Syracuse has, a few years ago it was Clemson went to Syracuse and lost or almost lost 2 or 3 years ago. Went to overtime maybe. Well, they went to overtime with North Carolina last year, but Syracuse has been a team that Clemson has sort of struggled with a few times these past few years. So I don't really know if you can take a whole lot away from that game. Wake Forest, an 11-point favorite, has been playing better these past few weeks. I'm going to take Wake Forest minus those 11 points. We have Notre Dame at Georgia Tech, 3:30 on ABC. Notre Dame a 20-point favorite. And Notre Dame is one of those teams that's sort of been back and forth. And Georgia Tech also, got absolutely obliterated by Clemson and has lost some kind of rough games. UCF also put up a ton of points against him. Now, Notre Dame really struggled against Louisville the other week. Wasn't sure. I know I looked around a little bit. A bunch of people picked Notre Dame not to cover. They don't think Notre Dame can put up quite the points, but I'm just not sold on Georgia Tech. They've played some good games, but they have not been consistent. And the games that they've lost by more than a touchdown, they've really lost. They've had a few losses of 30 points. Of course, let Clemson score 70 on them. I don't think there's any way Notre Dame puts up 70, but just under 3 touchdowns. I'm going to take Notre Dame minus the 20 in this game. Next up, Virginia Tech at Louisville, 4 o'clock on the ACC network. Virginia Tech, a 3.5-point favorite. Louisville played a good game against Florida State last week. I got tricked by Florida State and picked them, and they got blown out. Virginia Tech has not been as good as I wanted them to be. Really wanted Virginia Tech to be better. They've lost some games that I thought they should have won. They haven't played as well a few times that I think they should have. I'm going to take Virginia Tech, though. I think Louisville is just a team that is good, but I don't think they're quite good enough. I think Virginia Tech wins. It's only a 3.5-point spread. I'm going to take Virginia Tech minus those 3.5. Charlotte at Duke, 7 o'clock on ESPN3. Duke, a 9.5-point favorite, and Charlotte has been a good non-Power 5 team. They've played a bunch of close games. I like Duke. I like their coach. I'm going to take Duke to cover in this game. I think Charlotte is a good team, though. I think they can keep this game close. I don't think Charlotte wins. I could see Duke winning this by a touchdown. I'm going to take Duke minus the 9.5 and hope they win by 10. I really think this is a good spread for this game. I think if you like Duke, I think about 10 points is what you should expect them to win by. We have North Carolina at Virginia, 8 o'clock on the ACC network. North Carolina, a 6.5-point favorite. I have been high on Virginia this season, but similar to Virginia Tech, they've done well for me a few times, and then they just haven't played well in a few games. North Carolina, I think, has their worst games behind them as far as how they're going to play. I am going to take them minus the 6.5, just under a touchdown. I like that. I think North Carolina wins that game. I think they can win by a touchdown. I think they could probably win by closer to 10 points. But I like North Carolina with a spread that's anything under a touchdown, so give me North Carolina minus those 6.5. All right, that is it for the ACC games this week. Let's move on to the Big Ten. So we have a Friday night game here, Minnesota at Maryland, 7:30 on ESPN. Minnesota sort of got exposed last week by Michigan, a game that really surprised me. Did not think Michigan was going to come out and look that good, and they blew Minnesota away. Maryland also got blown away by Northwestern. This is a Friday night game. You can see weird things happen on these games sometimes, but I'm going to take Minnesota minus the 19.5. I think they have a bit of a bounce back here. I don't think Maryland is going to be a great team. Give me Minnesota minus those 19.5. I think they win by 3 touchdowns. I think that's a pretty good spread there. Moving on to Saturday, Michigan State at Michigan, 12 o'clock on Fox. Michigan State coming off a very embarrassing loss to Rutgers. Really just sort of got boat raced by Rutgers there. Was not expecting that. Michigan State has had a good defense, but it does not, at least based on that first game, it does not look like that is going to be the case this year. And I think that's sort of part of that is the whole Corona situation and the issues that teams are having. I think it has affected defenses more, which is sort of the opposite of what you usually see. Usually teams have more trouble with limited practice time with their offenses, with getting things going, but I think the lack of being able to have contact football as much in their practices, defenses just haven't been playing as well, especially in early games this year. Michigan looked good on offense last week. I think they're going to, of course, I think both of these teams are going to be up for this game. It's a big rivalry game, but I think Michigan is the better team. I think Michigan State is going to have a rough year. Give me Michigan minus those 24.5. Purdue at Illinois, 12 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. Purdue did nice for me last week against Iowa. I really appreciated that. I am going to take Purdue again. They're a 7-point favorite. I like Purdue. I think Rondale Moore is an absolutely exceptional player. I think he is a difference maker in a lot of games. I think there are certain teams who will be able to completely shut that down just by double, triple teaming him. I think Ohio State is going to be one of those teams. I do not think Illinois is, though. Give me Purdue minus the 7. I think Purdue gets a good win there. All right, the Wisconsin-Nebraska game got canceled. I'm sad because I think that would be a fun game to watch, but picks-wise, I'm a little bit glad that it got canceled because I did not know what to do with that game. Of course, Wisconsin should be the much better team, but the spread was only 3 points because all of Wisconsin's quarterbacks were out. So, I mean, that's why the game got canceled. So, I was not sure how to pick that game. So, a little bit glad picks-wise that I don't have to make a decision there. But sad I'm not going to see that game. Okay, Indiana at Rutgers, 3:30 on the Big Ten Network. No spread on this game. Of course, Rutgers coming off that big win against Michigan State. I would probably take Indiana to win that game. There may be some overreacting to their win against Penn State. But I would pick Indiana to win that game. I don't think Indiana is going to be as good as that Penn State win make them look, and I don't think Penn State is going to be as bad as that game made them look. I think in between is somewhere where those teams are going to end up. I don't know how Rutgers is going to look, though. I don't know how much that's Michigan State being bad or Rutgers being better than they have been. But yeah, I would take Indiana to win that game. Northwestern at Iowa, 3:30 on ESPN. Iowa, a 2.5-point favorite. I think Iowa is a pretty good team. I don't think they're going to be great. I think they're better than Northwestern, though. It's only a 2.5-point spread. I can easily see Iowa winning by a field goal in this game. I don't think it's going to be a huge win. Iowa does not have a high-powered offense, but give me Iowa minus those 2.5. Okay, Ohio State at Penn State, the big game this week in the Big Ten, 7:30 on ABC. Ohio State a 12-point favorite, and I don't think you're seeing that spread being an overreaction to the Penn State game. I honestly think that spread is still a little bit low. Ohio State is a really, really good team. I think Penn State is going to be better than they looked in that Indiana game. But I think this game is going to be very similar to the Alabama-Georgia game that you saw, where Ohio State has just a little bit too much on offense. I think they're able to get a touchdown or two up, and Penn State is just never able to get quite back. I think it'll be a competitive game for most of it. I think Ohio State is going to have just enough on offense to get away with things there. Give me Ohio State minus those 12 points. All right, that's it for the ACC and the Big Ten. Click the like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing them. I make these videos every week, picking every FBS game against the spread. So subscribe if you want to keep seeing them. I'll see you next time.